Grace, peace, and love from our Father in heaven and from His Son. We are glad that you have tuned in to the Yahweh and Yahshua Speak show. This is the Hebrew Husband and Wife Ministry, broadcasting from Evanston, Illinois. And we are going to start out in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And the title of this sermon is Look for a Happy Ending. Look for a happy ending. Genesis, the 3rd chapter. So living life has been a series of hurtful experiences ever since man broke Yah's first commandment. Living life has been a series of hurtful experiences ever since man broke Yah's first commandment. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and we want to read verses 16 to 19. Genesis chapter 3, verses 16 to 19, and let's read.
Genesis chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. Verse
all right, so here he's saying to the woman, sorrow. He said, sorrow in conception, sorrow in bringing forth children. Your husband's going to rule over you. To the man he said, cursed is the ground, and in sorrow you're going to eat of the ground all the days of your life. So that's talking about some hurt in life. All right, verse 18.
Verse 18. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. Verse 19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
All right, now he's telling the man, all right, thorns and thistles is the ground going to bring forth to you. And you'll eat the herb of the field, and the sweat of your face, you're going to eat bread. He said, until you return unto the ground, he said, because you were taken out of the ground, for dust you are, and unto dust you shall return. So after breaking the first commandment, Yahweh Elohim told the two people in the Garden of Eden that the way they chose to live life was going to be harder and much less desirable than it should have been. Let's go to Job, the 10th chapter. Always remember the title of this lesson is Look for a Happy Ending. Not trying to bring you down, we're letting you know you can look for a happy ending, but life is hurtful. And has been hurtful ever since man broke Yah's first commandment. Job, the 10th chapter. And if you haven't figured it out yet, it will not take you long to figure out that Yahweh Elohim was right. And He is right. Life was harder for the first man and woman, and it's harder for you and I, and much less desirable than it should have been if they had not broken that first commandment. Job, the 10th chapter. We want to read verse 15. Job, chapter 10. And let's read verse 15, please.
Job chapter 10 and verse 15. If I be wicked, woe unto me. And if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion. Therefore see thou my affliction.
All right, so here's Job, Job, several chapters later, and he's talking about this life, this hurtful life experience that all of us have been going through. He said, if I be raw, if I be wicked, oh, woe unto me. He said, if I be sadiq, woe unto me. He's saying, living this life, it's going to be hurtful, whichever way you go. He said, yeah, will I not lift up my head? I'm not going to be arrogant about it. He said, I'm full of confusion. Therefore, see thou mine affliction. So he's talking to Yahweh Elohim and saying, you know that being born into this earth life puts all of us between a rock and a hard place. So in this society, they say life, quote unquote, sucks. And let's see what, according to, what do they mean when they say that life sucks, according to Quora.com.
According to Quora.com, what does life sucks mean? The phrase life sucks is a colloquial expression used to convey a sense of frustration, disappointment, or unhappiness with one's current circumstances or with life in general. It suggests that life can be difficult, unfair, or disappointing at times, and that one may feel overwhelmed or discouraged by the challenges they face.
All right, so all they're doing is they're just repeating what Yahweh Elohim told the first two people in the Garden of Eden. They said the phrase life sucks. They're just saying it can be frustrated, disappointing, unhappy with the things that go on around us. Well, what's the cause of that? The cause of that is from man breaking the two people in the garden breaking this first commandment. It said, life sucks means that life can be difficult, unfair, or disappointing at times. And it can cause people to be discouraged. Go to Isaiah, the 6th chapter. Always remember now, the title of this sermon is, Look for a Happy Ending. Isaiah, the 6th chapter. Isaiah, the 6th chapter. But that does not change the truth. They say life sucks. Yahweh Elohim said life is going to be harder for us than it would have been if that first commandment had not been broken. But that's a moot point because it has been broken. Isaiah the 6th chapter, we want to read verse 5. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 5. So Job said, hey, woe unto me. Now here's another man. And these are servants of Yahweh Elohim. He's saying somewhat the same thing. Isaiah chapter 6, let's read verse 5.
Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, Yahshua.
All right, then he said, oh, woe is me, for I am undone. He's talking about this rock in a hard place. He's talking about this hurtful life. He said, because I'm Adam unclean lips, and I'm living in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen Hamelech, Yahweh HaSabaoth. He said, I woke up and found out, whoa, life hurts, and that's why life hurts. Oh, he said, woe is me, I am undone. Go to Psalm 31st chapter. So as we live, we find out life comes with physical pain, mental pain, and injury. And this all, you can trace it back to Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And the choice that the people in the Garden of Eden made. Psalms, the 31st chapter. And we're going to read verse 12. Psalms chapter 31. Just always keep uppermost in your mind now, because we are not hopeless. We are hopeful, full of hope, always. Look for a happy ending. Psalms 31 and verse 12. But you don't get to the end until you go through. You got to start at the beginning and then you got to go through to the end. Psalms 31, let's read verse 12.
Psalms chapter 31 and verse 12. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel.
All right, so this is what all of us are that are born into this life. This is what the first two people in the garden became, broken vessels, after they broke that first commandment. This man is saying, I am forgotten as a mutadam, as a dead man, out of pay, out of mind. I'm like a broken vessel. I'm cut off from Yahweh Elohim. Go to Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter. So that's how we all come into the world. And most of us remain that way. But we were blessed not to remain that way. Go to Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter. So in 1966, Jimmy Ruffin, who used to be part of the Temptations, original Temptation group, and they sang some songs in Motown, under the Motown label. He sang a song entitled, What Becomes of the Brokenhearted? So that's what happened in the Garden of Eden. Brokenheartedness entered into living this life. So some of the words of the song, what becomes of the brokenhearted are, and it's very insightful, it's talking about this life hurt situation that we live in. As I walk through this land with broken dreams, I have visions of many things, but happiness is just an illusion, filled with sadness and confusion. What becomes of the brokenhearted, who had love that's now departed? I know I've got to find some kind of peace of mind. And then he says, maybe. He said, the roots of love grow all around, but for me they come tumbling down. Every day heartaches grow a little stronger. I can't stand this pain much longer. I walk in shadows, searching for light, cold and alone, no comfort in sight, hoping and praying for someone to care, always moving and going nowhere. What becomes of the brokenhearted, who had love that's now departed? I know I've got to find some kind of peace of mind. He says, help me. So this is everything that transpired in the garden by the choice that the first two people made. He says, I'm searching, though I don't succeed. But someone, look, there's a growing need. Oh, he is lost. There's no place for beginning. All that's left is an unhappy ending. Now becomes of the brokenhearted, who had loved that now departed. I know I've got to find some kind of peace of mind. I'll be searching everywhere just to find someone to care. Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter. And that describes to a T what Yahweh Elohim told the first man and woman was going to happen with them and with all of us that are born into this life. Ecclesiastes 9, we're going to read verses 3 to 4. So after Yah's commandment, first commandment was broken, living life became a heartbreaker. Men walk around with their broken hearts, living the hardest life that can be lived. It was never Yahweh Elohim's intention, but that's what happens now. Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, verses 3 to 4, let's read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 3. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and after that they go to the dead.
All right, so he's just describing what Yahweh Elohim said in Genesis. And always keep the title of in your mind now, because this sermon is not to bring you down. This sermon is to bring you up. Always look for a happy ending now. Keep looking for a happy ending. It said, hey, the hearts of the Son of Man, it says there's an evil among all things that are done under the sun. Well, we are under the sun. There's one event unto all. He's talking about all of us are going through this heartbreaker life. He said, and the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live. Because there's some stuff, if you don't guard your eyes and your ears, that you will see that you wish you had never saw, or that you'll hear that you wish you had never heard. It says, while we live. And after that, they go to the dead. But now, let's see, because we're looking for a happy ending. What does verse 4 say?
Verse 4. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion.
You said, now, we got some stuff going for us. We're living. We're still alive. He said, him that is joined to Hakaya, or the living, there's hope. See, we have hope. We're still alive. He said, because the lion is king of the jungle, but he said a living dog, as low as he is in the animal kingdom, is better than a dead lion. So the lion being dead is like the hope is gone for him. So it's not life in general that sucks. It is that men are looking for a happy ending in life, thinking they can get it without Yah. 1 Corinthians 15. It's not life in general that sucks. It's men looking for a happy ending in life, thinking they can get it without Yahweh Elohim. 1 Corinthians 15. First Corinthians chapter 15, and we want to read verse 28. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and let's read verse 28.
1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 28. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that Elohim may be and may be all in all.
All right, so he's saying now, for those of us that are still living, he said, when all things shall be subdued under him, he's talking about Yahweh Elohim having all things subdued up under him. Then shall Haban also himself, the Son himself, also be subject unto him that put all things under him, that Elohim may be all in all. So look for a happy ending. This is the happy ending right here. Just like it started out in the beginning, it's going to end up that way in the end. Life without Yah has an unhappy ending. But you and I always look for a happy ending. Go to Psalms 31. Life without Yah has an unhappy ending. Life without him is hurtful to live. Psalms 31. But as long as we have life, our hope for a happy ending can come true. He said that live dog is better than that dead lion. Lion's the king of the jungle while he's alive, but he's nothing when he's dead. The dog trumps him. Psalms 31 and verse 10. Life without Yah is hurtful to live, but as long as we have life, our hope for a happy ending can come true. Psalms chapter 31.
Psalms chapter 31, verse 10. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed.
All right, so here's this psalmist saying, hey, my life is spent with grief. He said, my years was sighing. And you know sighing is like, when things are not going as we think they should. We can get to sighing and grieving. He said, my strength faileth. He said, not for anybody else's, what anybody else is doing. He said, of mine iniquity. What's going on with me? He said, and my bones are consumed. He said, it's in me that's causing me to be sighing and grieving. Go to Psalms, the 9th chapter. So the psalmist, he felt hurt, anger and resentment at the life experiences he was having. Psalms chapter 9. And he said, life pained his mind and it wounded his feelings. He said, life hurts. Psalm 9 and verse 15. Psalms chapter 9, verse 15. Read.
Psalms chapter 9 and verse 15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken.
All right, so now he's talking about this breaking the first commandment. It said the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they have made, because the first two people in the garden, they got themselves together while they had life. But he said there are some that sunk down into this pit that they made, that broken commandment pit, and said, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. So they're tangled up. Go to Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter. So breaking Yah's first commandment is a pit that we all got lowered into. Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter. He said there are people that are without Yah, choosing to be without Yah, choosing to stay without Yah, and it said they sunk down in that pit. They got lowered into the pit, they sunk down in it, and now their feet are in a net. Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter. Breaking Yah's first commandment is a pit that we all got lowered into. Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter. You want to read verses 11 to 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
All right, see, because Yahweh Elohim is patient, he's long-suffering, and life hurts. Experiences of life hurt, and that hurt is supposed to help us to seek to find a way out of the hurt. We're not sadistic, which means if you're normal, you don't love pain. If you're normal, you don't like keep getting beat up. If you're normal, you don't like always being drugged down. It said, but because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, because Yahweh Elohim is patient and he's long-suffering, he gives us a chance for the pain to help to move us to the right decision to get out from under the pain. He says, but there's some of them, like the heathen that are sunk down in the pit, their mind, he says, the mind of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, to keep doing what they're doing, to stay between that rock and a hard place. Verse 12.
Verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with him, with them that fear, that reverence Yahweh, which reverence before him.
All right, it said, but though these people do evil 100 times, and his yom be prolonged, it says, yet surely, ayada, that it shall be well with those of us that are looking for that happy ending. Why? Because we joined ourselves back to Yahweh Elohim. It shall be well with them that reverence Elohim and which reverence before him. Go to Psalms 27. So our happy ending comes when we find out Yah is the way out of the pit. He is the way out of that pit from that first commandment, where we got lowered down into the pit from the breaking of the first commandment. Psalm 27. That's where our happy ending came from, and that's why we're looking for a happy ending, always. Psalm 27 and verse 10. Psalm chapter 27 and verse 10.
Psalms chapter 27 and verse 10. When my father and my mother forsake me, then Yah will take me up.
All right, so it says, okay, we came into this world and were born into the pit. Said, okay, our father and mother might not have been the best. They might not have been around. They might have had us, and they might have given us up and put us in an orphanage. We might not even know the name of our physical father and our physical mother. And you notice he didn't say if my father and my mother forsake me. He said when. So he knew that. Now he was the father and mother of the first two people in the garden. And so he knew that after they broke that first commandment, he understood what men's minds and hearts would be thinking about as far as children. So he didn't say, if my father and mother forsake me. He said, when my father and mother don't treat me right. Whether they did it deliberately or out of ignorance, but if they weren't connected to him, then they did the best they could, but they didn't treat you like him. Nobody can treat you like him. He said, when they left you, when they didn't do what they were supposed to do, he said, then, he said, I'm going to take you up. He said, so look for a happy ending. He's telling you, look for a happy ending. We might have not started out right. He said, keep looking for a happy ending. And so we want to see what that word forsake is in the Hebrew, because he didn't say if. He knew there was going to be some fathers and some mothers forsaking you and I as children, and probably our fathers and mothers as children, and grandfathers and grandmothers as children. So let's see, it says, okay, so when parents do this, then Yahweh said, hey, look for a happy ending because I'm going to take you up. What does it mean when they do this forsaking? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. The English word forsake is a primitive Hebrew word, osab. Asab, found at Strong's Exalted Concordance of the Old and New Testament, number 5800. Strong's defined it as to loosen, for example, voluntarily cease to keep or claim, give up, give authorization or consent to do something, etc. Commit yourself, fail, fortify, help, leave without the basic necessities of life, leave off, and surely indicate or show that one is not willing to do something. All right, so that forsake, it says, when our fathers and mothers forsook us or forsake us,
when they surely indicate and show that they're not willing to act like our parents and be our parents and do what parents do. He said when they fail to do that, when they leave us without the basic necessities of life, that is understanding what life is about and raising us and loving us, he said, then I'm going to take you up. So look for a happy ending. Go to John the 10th chapter. So now this is why they do that. And not that they're mean people, not that they're bad people, but they might have just stayed in the pit and been cut off from Yahweh Elohim and stayed cut off from Yahweh Elohim. Or they might have been cut off from Yahweh Elohim when you and I came along. John the 10th chapter. We want to read verses 10 to 11. But when he said when our father and mother forsake or indicate that they're going to leave us without the basic necessities of life, he said, I'm going to take you up. He said, there's hope for you. There's hope for me. John 10, verses 10 to 11.
John chapter 10 and verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to kill, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. Verse 11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep.
All right, so here is supporting Psalms 27 and 10, where it said, okay, when parents leave off giving their children the basic necessities of life and surely indicate and show that they're unwilling to do it, he said, I'm going to take you up. So here is the son saying, hey, the thief came, because that's who they listened to, the first two people in the garden, and they broke Yah's first commandment. He came to steal, kill, and destroy, but he said, hey, I'm going to take you up. He said, Yah will take me up. He said, I come that you might have life. I'm going to take you up, and that you might have it more abundantly. Look for a happy ending. He said, I came to give you a happy ending. He says, I'm the good, the Torah, the good shepherd. And the Torah, the good shepherd, gives his life, his kai, for the sheep, for you and I. Go to Psalms 31. So it's time for us to come up, catch up to our happy ending. It's time. This is our time in this generation to come up and catch up to our happy ending and stop trusting in the lie that time heals all wounds. Go to Psalms 31. Stop trusting in the lie that time heals all wounds. So no matter what happens, if you just let enough time go by, then that's going to stop the pain from life hurting you and I. So according to Merriam-Webster, what do they mean when they say they put this false saying out here talking about how time heals all wounds? Because we have to stop believing that. That's a lie.
According to Merriam-Webster.com, the meaning of time heals all wounds idiom is used to say that feelings of sadness, disappointment, etc. gradually go away as time passes.
All right, so now they say time heals all wounds, and they say, okay, feelings of sadness, disappointment, the hurts of living this life that came on us from the first two people in the garden breaking the first commandment. They said, okay, if you give it enough time now, then that feeling of sadness and disappointment and the hurts that you experience in life will gradually go away. That's a lie. The real truth is time heals no wounds and nothing. Psalms 31. What time does is makes life suck us into that net. See, we saw it's a pit. There's a pit. And time sucks us into that pit and the net that's in the pit, and that net is knotted and weaved tight together to trip us up and to keep us locked in that pit. That's what time does. Psalms 31 and verse 4.
Psalms chapter 31 and verse 4. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privately for me, for thou art my strength.
All right, so here's this man, he's looking for a happy ending, but he's saying, I need some help. I need somebody to pull me up out of this. He said, pull me up out of that pit, out of that net that they have laid privately for me, that came from breaking that first commandment that I was born into and you were born into, that makes life suck and makes life hurt. He says, for thou art my coag, you are my strength. I can't get up out of this pit without you. Go to John the 3rd chapter. So the psalmist found out that Yah was willing to pull him out of the net. But you need to know it's a lie. Time does not heal. And as you continue to live this life, you will run across people 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and they're still caught up on something that happened when they were 6, 7, 8 years old. Why? Because all they did was let time pass. Time doesn't heal the wounds. Yahweh Elohim is the healer. And the psalmist found out that he was willing to pull him up out of that net and heal him. John the 3rd chapter, we want to read verses 19 to 21. John 3rd chapter and verses 19 to 21.
John chapter 3 and verse 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Verse 20. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. Verse 21. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they were wrought in Yah.
All right. So time does not heal. Now here we're seeing in the New Testament, Kadash Barit, Yakanan. Here Yahweh Elohim is telling him to put this in here. It says, this is a condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. They didn't want to change them. He said, for everyone that doeth evil, he hates the light. Neither does he come to the light, lest his deeds should be made and called out to be what they are. But if he wants to look for a happy ending, he got to bring time. Time will pass. You'll be 70, 80, 90 years old and still talk about what somebody did to him when he was 10 years old, or she. Said, but he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that what he does may be made manifest, that they are wrought or worked in Elohim. Go to Luke the 4th chapter. So time does not heal any wounds. Only what is brought into Yah's light heals. Luke the 4th chapter. And whatever is not brought into Yah's light accumulates on and in us, and it gets carried as life trash by us. All those hurts carried just like a big wastebasket full of trash. Life hurts. Anybody ever said anything wrong to us, or did anything wrong to us, or we felt wrong about it, it's piled on top of us. Whatever is not brought into Yah's light accumulates on us and in us, and gets carried as trash. Life trash by us. Luke 4 and verse 18. But Yahweh Elohim keeps telling us, look for a happy ending. While you have life, there's still hope. 4 and 18. But you have to empty the trash. We have to empty the trash. Because we're carrying it. Yes, Luke 4:18.
Luke chapter 4 and verse 18. The Spirit of Yah is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the doctrine to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering the sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised.
All right, so here's Yahweh Elohim telling us again, look for a happy ending. He's saying, when your father and mother didn't do what they're supposed to do, or whoever, aunt, uncle, whatever, he said, I got you. He said, and here's the son saying again, Ruach of Yahweh is upon me, because he's anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. He sent me to heal your broken heart. All of us had broken hearts. To preach deliverance to the captives. We were down in that pit with all the hurts of life, burying us down there on top of us, and recovering the sight to the blind so we can see. Hey, just because you started out a certain way, you're not doomed to end up that way. Look for your happy ending. There's a happy ending. To set at liberty them that are bruised. So why is he saying he had to do this? Because he understood. Hey, what becomes of the broken heart? Who had loved is now departed. What was that love that departed? The two people in the garden made a decision. Hey, we want to do our own thing. Proverbs 18. Why do you say I came to heal the broken heart? Because all of us had broken hearts. Proverbs 18. And there are a whole bunch of people, the majority of people still walking around with a broken heart. Proverbs 18. Because they are not hooked up with Yah. Proverbs 18. But carrying life, accumulated hurt, trash, for years, changes people. It changed us. How many years we carried it till he showed us, hey, you can empty that trash bin. You don't have to carry that trash with you. He said, I took it. No matter what anybody did to you. And as you live through life, no matter what anybody tries to do to you. He said, you don't have to carry that trash. But carrying accumulated hurt trash changes us. Proverbs 18 and 19. And it doesn't change us for the better. It changes us for the worse. Proverbs 18 and 19.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 19. A brother offended is hard to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. So he's talking about people that carry that hurt trash that's accumulated and believe in a lie that time heals all wounds. But what it is they just piling more and more hurt on top of the more and more hurt, more and more hurt, more and more of brokenness on top of it. It says somebody that's offended, talk about hurt, it's hard to be won in a strong city. And their contentions, their reasons for it. Talk to some people and they'll tell you over and over and over how this person did them wrong and that person did them wrong. They need to empty their trash can. Still in the pit. It said their contentions, their reasons for being offended, for holding on to grudges, are like the bars of a castle. Isaiah the 1st chapter. So living a hurtful life without Yah builds up pain that blocks us from meeting Yah halfway. So busy nourishing the pain, it blocks us from meeting Yah halfway. Isaiah the 1st chapter.
5 to 6. So that hurtful life is when you're without Yah. Like he told the first 2 people in the garden. You're in for a big hurt, but it's done now. And he followed through with the consequences. See, this is the consequences of the first 2 people. Of the 2 people in the garden breaking that first commandment. These are consequences. And the consequences is life hurts. Life sucks. But not life in general, but life without Yahweh Elohim. All right, Isaiah, the 1st chapter, and verses 5 to 6. But when you live life and you just keep piling on the hurts and talk about how people hurt you and they wrong you, and then you just keep soothing that hurt, just keep kissing yourself and, yeah, they really did me wrong, and I was done wrong, and I was done wrong. And here the century, the decades are passing by. It said, you build up pain that blocks you from meeting Yah halfway. Isaiah 1 and verse 5 to 6.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 5. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faints.
He said, we keep looking for time to pass so we can heal. He said, you're sick. He said, why you want to be stuck down in that pit deeper and deeper? Why would you be stricken more? Why do you want to keep carrying that big bag of hurt trash around with you about what somebody did wrong to you? All of us were heartbroken. All of us had stuff going on. He said, you will revolt. You're in a revolution against me. He said, your whole head is sick and your whole mind is thinking wrong. Verse 6.
Verse 6, from the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
Now he was talking about the children of Israel, but he's talking about you and I too. He's talking about humanity in general. He said, from the sole of your foot to your head, there's no soundness in you without Yah. Cut off from Yah. All you got is trash. You got wounds, you got bruises, you got pus-filled sores. That's that old English putrefying. You mean you got that green nasty stuff coming up out of you, which is that pain and that what you have taken in where people have offended you, not to say that they were right to do it, but why you gonna carry that bag of trash with you all your life? He said, they've not been closed, the sores that the people ripped open, they did you wrong, they ripped the sores open. He said, but they haven't been closed, you don't have no Band-Aid on them, you don't have no ointment on them, so they can get well. And the passage of time will not heal it. It'll make it worse. Go to Proverbs 4th chapter. So recognizing we are carrying garbage bags and garbage cans of offense, annoyance, or resentment brought about by a perceived insult to or disregard for ourselves, our standards, and our principles is meeting Yah halfway. Proverbs 4th chapter. You got to recognize, you got to see it. And none of us gets out of this life without being hurt. And I won't ask for a show of hands, how many people never been hurt? And if you raise your hand, you're the biggest liar that ever took a breath. Or you don't have all your mental faculties going right. So recognizing we are carrying garbage cans of offense, annoyance, or resentment brought about by us perceiving that we've been insulted or somebody disregarded our standards and our principles. That's meeting Yah halfway. A sin that happened to us. A sin our hearts got broke living this life apart from Yah. Proverbs 4 and 26.
Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 26. Ponder the path of thy feet and let all thy ways be established.
She said, okay, now, so you all look and see what you're doing now. Look and see. Are you all right without me? He said, ponder the path of thy feet. Look where you're walking. Look how you're living. Look what you're doing. You trying to protect yourself so much and you can't get close to anybody, or you can't really relate to anybody because you keep thinking, okay, well, they're going to do something to me because years ago this person did that to me. He said, think about how you walking, how you living. He said, and let me step in and let your ways be established. He said, you got to let me come in and do this. You got to give up all this trash. I'm not coming around with all this old smelly trash that you got in your life that you've been holding on to, that you're comfortable with. Go to Isaiah the 8th chapter. So Yah put in us, He put in us the knowledge that we are supposed to be taken care of when we are born into this life. So He put that in us. So it's no surprise when little babies come in that they are helpless, and when they're uncomfortable or when they're hungry, what do? They cry. So within them, that's the knowledge. They know they're supposed to be taken care of. They know that there's somebody that's supposed to give them food, that's supposed to change their diaper, that's supposed to protect them and take care of them. Yah put that in us. So we have that knowledge. We're supposed to be taken care of when we enter life. But He said now, just because it's in us, the people that are above us that had us are supposed to be taking care of us. If they cut off from Yah, then they may or may not know how to do the right thing. And even when they're hooked up with Yah, they're not Yah. They do the best they can, but you still gonna get your heart broken by some other stuff that's gonna happen out here in this life. Because this life sucks without Yah. It stinks. But keep looking for a happy ending, because you got Yah now. Isaiah 8 and verse 18.
Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 18. Behold, I and the children whom Yah hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Yisrael from Yah Sabaoth, which dwelleth in Mount Zion.
All right, so He keeps telling you and I, hey, I'm your mother and your father. I'm your father and your mother. He said, so whatever they did, forgive them. Let them go. And there's some people said they're holding on to people, and the people have been dead years and years and years, and they're still carrying trash around. So He said, behold, I and the children whom Yahweh have given me. He's talking about you and I. He said, okay, your father and mother, they didn't do, your family, whoever raised, they didn't do what they're supposed to do. He said, but I stepped in now. I'm your new father. I'm your new mother. You're my child. You've been given me for signs and wonders in Yisrael, for Yahweh Sabaoth of hosts, which dwelleth in Zion. Go to 2 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. So now time heals nothing. It just heals no wounds. And time can make us be looking for somebody to empty our trash. The only one that can empty our trash is when we let Yah know. Yahweh Elohim know, look, I'm going to give up this trash. Then He'll help you empty your trash. Another human can never empty your trash for you. 2 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, and we want to read verse 2. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. For He saith, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation have I succored thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation.
All right, he's telling you again now, I'm your new father and mother. Here I am. Forget about what your father and mother did or didn't do. Forgive them, let them go. Whatever your family, whatever anybody did to you or does to you, forgive them, let it go. Empty the trash. Keep that trash can empty. Don't be carrying that garbage around with you. He said, for he said, I've heard you in a time accepted. I saw your pain. I saw your broken heart. I told the first two people in the garden, look here, you're going to live a broken-hearted life. You're going to be looking for somebody to care. And you're not going to find anybody to care, not on the level and the magnitude that he can care and wants to care for you. He said, I heard you in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation, I've succored you, I've nourished you, I've taken you up. Behold, he said, this is your time now. You're in the land of the living. This is your time. Look for your happy ending. It's with me. He said, now is the day of salvation. So what is this accepted? What is that English word? He said, so you've been accepted. So your father and mother, or whoever rejected you, people rejected you throughout life. He said, I accepted you. So what does that word mean now in the Greek?
The English word accepted is the Greek word found in Strong's Exalted Concordance of the Old and New Testaments, number 11884. Strong defines it as approved, figuratively, giving or indicating a good chance of success, favorable, generally believed or recognized to be valid or correct, able to be agreed on and suitable.
Bless the mighty Yah. So he said, hey, you have been in a time, I heard you, and in a time accepted. He said, I've given you a good chance of success. He said, I approve of you. So whatever your parents did or did not, we'll just say they did the best they could, even if they didn't, even if they deliberately hurt you. Let it go. He said, I've approved